Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
I can
Uh,
hear you.
good. Good. Yeah, I hope y'all be
What's
happy.
going on?
I need to hear y'all. Look, I just rushed back from I just rushed back here for this meeting, man. So yeah, man, let's make this a good meeting. With having a good day. Hope y'all having a good Sunday. I just came back from putting flowers on my brother's grave, cleaning up the grave. We had a storm, so I went over there and cleaned the grave up and stuff like that. And me and my mom. So just got here literally just before the meeting started. So, that's my dedication to this. So let's just hop right into it. We got a big week ahead of us. So I hope y'all happy to be here. I hope y'all ready for an eventful week. I know I am. And, let's hop right into it. So by watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There's significant financial risk associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. Now, look, so a lot of these slides right here, I'm just going to kind of go through without like I didn't update certain slides because again, like I said, I wanted to get this meeting started, and a lot of the stuff I know off the top of my head, so we can just kind of get into it. So normally we would start with our sector performance for this week, and all that, like most of the sectors this week finished green, right? So yeah, so this was last week's. I typically would have updated this one with this week's, and we would have compared it to last week. But look, just know it was inverse, pretty much inverse with communication services, the best performing sector on Friday, followed by real estate. So that's pretty much how that went on Friday. And in terms of options flow for Friday, ARM had the top call options flow, followed by Lily. Shout out to Lily, man. Shout out to Lily. And I just have to give a special shout out to Eli Lilly. Burnt that down. Um, AMD, Nvidia, and Microsoft. Those are the top call options flow on Friday. For puts, we had XLE, so they were shorting energy, silver, TLT, that's Peter Stockwell ETF, uh, MCS, SMCI, which is Super Microcomputer, and gold. So interesting. Look, with the exception of Super Microcomputer, they were shorting all of the things, most of the things that you would buy when you're playing defense in the market. So pretty much when there's fear in the market, people go and run into energy, they start buying silver, they'll buy gold, they'll go into TLT but they're shorting this information. They're shorting it now. They'll go buy TLT because it tracks the bond market. So the fact that they were shorting that on Friday, that's interesting. Now on for the week, top call options flow was Nvidia, followed by ARM, AMD, Microsoft, and CRM. On the flip, for the put side, Apple, SMH. So SMH is an ETF that tracks the chip sector, the semiconductors, Merck, Hood, and Meta. They were the top for the week. A lot of put options flow went into those stocks and ETFs for the week. So let's move on from there. Yeah. So this I didn't update. So yeah, so this is, and again, I didn't update this slide either. These are still our profits for July. We haven't look, we only, how many weeks we in this month right now, KK? We're in this is the start of the second week. We're going
Yeah.
into, we just finished the second week.
The second full week.
Yeah, second full week. So yeah, but yeah, so this is still valid, the biggest month of the year. So this can stay. We can give another round of applause for July, man. Had the biggest month of the year, almost our biggest month. If technically I could call this our biggest month ever, but it's not. We had one that was bigger last June. But yeah, so we cleared over 8,400 for the month of July. If you just grabbed one options contract for every single trade that I alerted. And as you can see, these are net profits because you can see the losses in here too. So, that's a stuff of one contract killers around here. So yeah, just that's another round of applause for that though, because again, it was magnificent. And like I said, if you ain't participate in it, you didn't participate in it, you got a chance to still close out August strong because we still killing August. This was the first week of August. I didn't update the second one, but we crushed that one too. But that's the thing. We got this is how we started off the just for the first week. So and just another update. The reason I said technically July was a bigger one because I didn't include McDonald's on July. This one was $1,150 profit. I didn't include this in July's totals because we swung this into August. So I put this on August totals. So that's why this wasn't included. It was set to zero on the other one. But yeah, it was big profit off of this one. But one sec. Let's kind of go ahead and move on. All right, yeah. So lessons learned and recap. I mean, last week was an interesting week. Now I'm gonna start off by saying this. This is how I'm gonna start this off, the lessons learned recap. So, right, I pretty much with these, I think last week was probably a week where I really kind of showed y'all what I really meant in terms of at this part of the meeting, this is my favorite part of the meeting outside of going through the charts and stuff because we get to recap what happened last week. If I had any aha moments, if there was something that I wasn't sure of and I figured out my way through it, or a loss that I took that I just didn't really like, or it was a lesson that I learned from the loss, because the biggest lessons that you learn in the stock market don't come from any wins, they come from your losses. That's how I got to be who I am in this trading game now, by agonizing over the losses and not brushing them under the rug like they never happened. If you don't want losses to happen and you hate when they happen and you hate when they're magnified, then work harder so that way you don't lose the same way again. But don't act like it didn't happen. Put it to the forefront. If it hurts you the most, then that means you're gonna work the hardest for it not to happen. So I hate losing more than I love winning. So I'm gonna focus on the losses so that way I hold myself accountable. So I like this part of it because, again, it don't even have to be about a loss. It can be about a lesson or just a recap. And what I find with these, I like when the members speak up because then it gives me intel. I'm a coach at the end of the day, so I'm always looking for more intel and more data into what my traders could possibly need for and what I could give them to make them better. Because I'm like, if we're up like for the year, up over 35,000, 37,000 on a year so far, and per single option, one option, no earnings included, and then if that's the case, then I want more of the traders to be involved in that too. So what do I have to do to kind of make sure they're involved? I use the data and the intel I get back from this lessons learned recap to kind of decide how I'm gonna maneuver throughout the week, this upcoming week. So if there's an issue, if there's a situation where you know there are things that you aren't getting, or when we're going through certain things and you really don't understand it, and I'm going down this rabbit hole, it's the time to really speak up. Look at this like a real class. Like, this ain't a time it's not like an audio book where you could be driving on the road and listening to this meeting. You should have your laptop or whatever, so you can see the screens we going through and see the levels and really be able and taking notes. Take some notes, because so you'll remember, because it's a lot of information that we're going to go through here that's going to that you're going to need to know, and I'm going to expect you to know it, because if we get through this part right here and I don't get any lessons learned and recap from you all, then what I take that is, we had a great week and everybody was on point with it and nobody needed any help and nobody learned anything, and there was nothing that nobody could have, like there was no real lesson. So then I looked at it as, cool, my team made a lot of money with little effort from me, and that's more time I can spend on the tennis courts, right, or with my family or whatever. So yeah, so let's just learn recap. Let's open up the phone, open up the lines, and see who want to kick this off for this week.
I'll go ahead kicking off. I thought somebody else was, but I had a very good week, but not a great week. I got in and out of Eli Lilly play with you for the earnings bonus channel, and when I got into it, I got out. Looking at it now, I feel like it was in no man's land because I sold it not at open when it was already up a lot more than when I got out, but I also let it come back down too, and then I got out instead of just asking questions as far as, well, is it still holding structure? Because my structure, I had a support line, I think it was at 452, and it got right under it at 451, and that's when I sold it instead of just asking questions. So I got to do better with that, and I've been doing better, but I definitely made a mistake, and I want to say panic sold more than anything right there.
Yeah, I mean, just I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, just being straight up, like saying, that you're getting better and like it's like I said, those be the moves. I mean, you still made $1,000 profit from the trade. So, that's not, I still think that was a great trade, like I always say don't compare yourself to other traders, Like you said, you had your level, but I'm gonna tell you like this, the difference is like if and one of my best traders in the group, Daquan, for example, if he had a question about the trade, he would have asked me, you know what I'm saying? Like about what they were, regardless of what he know, like that was my trade. I had a plan for it. So I would have asked the person who took you on the mission, you know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. But I think you did great on the trade. I wouldn't say you did okay. You did great with regards, within your lane of where you are trading. I think making $1,000 profit, or something close to $1,000 profit is a great trade, for the level where you are too. And it's like, think about that's one trade within a few minutes, you made that much money. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like you made that money like within moments. It take certain people like weeks to make that type of money. And you get paid per hour. When people get paid per hour, so it's like yeah. So I think you did great. So me, I ain't the type of person to sugarcoat nothing. But that'd be one of our things though. I think KK and I were talking about this, right? And she probably gonna talk more about it for her lesson learned if she has any. But the thing is, it's like forget where other people are and where we want to be at. Like, where are we right now? And those are the questions that we should be asking based on where we are right now. Don't, because like I was telling one of my traders in the group on Friday. One of my traders was like, "Oh yeah," after I posted the Palo Alto trade to the team, one of my traders was like, "Oh yeah," and I see it close right at a key level. I'm like, "Well, that's not a key level. Number one, it's not a key level. It's is at resistance. That's where it closed at. But don't talk that key level when price action talks and stuff like that. And then when I'm not around and I throw a mission out there for the team, y'all get flustered in little things. Like I saw a lot of I go back and read the chat when I come back sometimes. And there was a trade I called out a Shopify trade. Awesome trade, by the way. Awesome trade. And I was reading the chat and I was just a little, I was like, okay, cool. I just thought that when you hear, that's why I say I go back off of make sure the questions you're asking are the stuff that you really need to know the answer to and forget the buzzwords because you may be using the wrong word or the wrong term. And I'm gonna respect you and think that, on the level that you are speaking on. So you don't overthink it. Just if you're in a trade and you really need help, let's talk about what you really need help with. Let's talk about what's really going on. And let's not make it about let's forget the buzzwords and all of the other stuff. So yeah, but I saw with some people talking about, were they still in the trade and then one of my top traders came in and posted a screenshot from when I said market structure over P&L, market structure over EMAs. That's directly from the options trading Bible. And 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 pretty much so that means pretty much don't like forget what the EMA is doing, forget what VWAP is doing at this point. What is this? What does the structure tell you? You know what I mean? And then I had another one of my top traders come in and reiterate it. And then I seen the traders still were talking about VWAP and stuff like that. I'm like, well, so I just read the stuff. So then later on, after I post a chart for another trade that we got, and then I see people coming in like, oh yeah, well, I already had these levels and oh, it's at a key level, stuff like that. I'm like, look, you don't got to talk like that because if you really need the help, I'm gonna give it to you and I'm gonna make sure you got it. But and listen, I don't want to hold nobody back, but when you talking like that, I expect you to know the basic stuff. Don't talk the multiplication, but when it's time to problem solve that only requires adding and subtracting, you can't figure it out. That means you don't know the basics yet. You know what I'm saying? So master that first before jumping ahead because it'll slow down your process. Like, look at this beautiful chart on Shopify, by the way. It finished just under the 200 moving average, not the EMA. I'm gonna have to see where the actual moving average is on this chart, but um yeah, I'm gonna change this one right here and I'll figure it out. Hold on. It's a 50, but I'm gonna change it to a 200 and change it just for a second. I need this on here, but just give me a sec. Yeah, okay, so it's way above that 200. Okay. Let me switch this back. Okay, it's way above the 200 EMA, but just under the 200. Okay, gotcha. So switch this back to a 50 and we can move on. But the whole point was, it's like, when I hear people talking on certain levels about certain things, I already assume, okay, if you're talking about multiplication, I mean, you have to know adding and subtracting. You already have to know it, right? So the basic stuff, right? I just forget knowing all the other stuff and trying to put yourself ahead. If you ask those basic questions, Kwamir asked me the night before Meta earnings. And the day of Meta earnings, he said, where do you think Meta is going? A direct question that he wanted to know the answer to. I told him 520. Meta had finished at like 475 that day. It ran all the way up to 528. You know what I'm saying? But it was a direct question. It wasn't convoluted. It wasn't a whole lot of jargon, stuff like that, trying to, sound smart or anything like that. Just ask the question so we can get where we need to go. But look at this chart. That's Shopify. Shopify, great chart. And it was the conversation that was happening in the chat. It was about a 5-minute chart. That 5-minute chart wasn't even about structure on there. It was just a bull flag breakout that I called out on that trade. But I called out a certain strike and I put a certain amount of time on it. So it's a lot of things that goes into that, and just simple questions would help, about what's going on or what we're looking at. But you see right here, this was the earnings gap down from the quarter before. And we still got this line right here. We got this 200 moving average, but we breaking back into the earnings. We need to break back into, once we get past here, we back up into that earnings gap, bearish gap. Bearish gap fill. And so this thing got some legs to it. And we closed, so that we got a area right here where price closed above. So yeah, we got the 200 EMA right here. Moving average right here, but we actually did close above one of my levels here. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually, I do consider this to be one of my key levels on this chart right here for this particular stock. You know what I'm saying? We closed over it. And so I think that we can possibly make a move higher, or, like I said, we get you can get a double, triple top or whatever, but I don't see that based off, we did have lower volume on Friday, but we did get a 222 reversal right here. So I'm just going to see exactly how things play out. But it looked like, if we can clear 70, I'm gonna say let's call it 70. Yeah, we clear 70. If we clear 70, we should be able to make that run up to 77. That'll be my target for this one here. But yeah, I think it's a great setup on this one. Now if we were to break down and lose, if we were to break down and lose 67, then we'll probably make a move all the way back down to 63. So yes, and then possibly close that gap and make a move even lower. But the way things went, they talk AI a lot on the call, and the guidance was pretty good. So we'll see exactly how things play out. But that was Shopify. But just wanted to talk about that. And then here's a bullish engulfing on the weekly chart with a 222 reversal. So we got time frame continuity, and the chart looks great. So I'm just saying, so when I was reading the chat and saw all of the confusion about the trade, I'm like, yo, when in doubt, zoom out. These are the basic things that I took my time to write out in the options trading Bible. You got to be reviewing these things you got to be humble enough to review that stuff for every single trade. When in doubt, before asking a question, your first thing should be, let me check the options trading Bible. Let me just think, because sometimes it's all in your head. Let me zoom out and see what's going on, and that'll help out a lot. But yeah, I just wanted to point this out for the for lessons learned, because that was something that I saw in the chat. But like I said, had the team, had those same members had questions on, or had a recap for lessons learned for the week, that Sunday before, it would have been a whole lot more of me in the chat throughout the week, holding hands and stuff like that. But it's based off of what I get right here. So like if I learn a trade and I feel like it don't require a lot of assistance unless it's a danger zone or something like that, then I'm gonna let my snipers do what they do, once I alert the trade. But yeah. But what's up,
I
KK?
had a lesson learned for this week. Look, I I am still a student and I still have to ask questions. And that's what I learned this week. I mean, I had a great week anyway. Had some really good earnest plays I was in. I was in Lily. Got right out at market open, 700 over 700%. Crazy play. Now I'm at work, so I'm not always looking at the chat, but sometimes I'll pop in and I saw Antoine tell Drew,
Mhm.
like, oh, Lily's at support. So I looked at the chart, I was like, all right, I mean, it's at support. So this might be a good place to get in. I grabbed the 860 for this week. And but I sold it
For last
before
week,
for last week, for the ninth. And I made like $300-400 that more off of that trade. But I should have just asked the question. I should have just asked Antoine, like, yo, what does he think? I could have just really asked him what he think, because he would have just told me exactly what he thought. Because look what it did the next day. Ran over 900. And that would have been a crazy trade. That contract went up exponentially. So just still, like, you still a student. Yeah, you can get money, but still talk to your teacher because he's there to help.
yeah, no, that was good. And see, if you would have asked me a question about Eli Lilly on Thursday, it was that Thursday, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Thursday morning or afternoon, yeah, Thursday morning, I would have told you, I would have said, ask Drew what he thinks, because
Right,
that's what I would have said. I would have, because I already, like, at that point, I would have told you if you needed help, but I would have said ask Drew what he think. I would have said ask Drew what he's doing with it.
right.
Because like I said, I reached
He
out to Drew
killed it.
specifically because we had traded the earnings. So I said, the earnings call just ended, everything was over. This was the next morning after the print, all of that, and so the stock, it really pulled back. Like, it was like a good $60 move, 40, 50, $60 move down, and so I wanted to make sure that I took the opportunity. I'm like, I can, let me help. I know Drew, one of them types of traders. If you tell him to look at some things, he gonna look at it. So it pulled back down to support right after that great earnings that they had. So yeah, and like I told y'all the day after, if it got through 880, it was going to 900. Ended up going to 908, and but yeah, that was a nice trade. And me personally, what I did, because I wanted people to see something, because I took a contract just off that I had swung through earnings, paid two something for it, and the day of earnings turned that into like $2,300. I didn't take profit because I already had a plan for that stock, and I knew what I felt, and I had time for it to play out. I held it. I watched that contract go all the way down to like a profit of only like about a few $100s, and I still stayed in it. The next morning it paid off. It went where I thought it was going to go, turned like less than $300 into over $3,200. You know what I mean? So it's about being able to read that chart and see what story the chart is telling and putting your money. So some people are like, well, why you ain't just buy like 10 or 20 contracts when you told you no? Because I be trying to prove something. I make money in the market all the time. It's I'm trying to prove this one contract thing to people, because like I said, you can go anywhere else. It's a lot of people doing what I do with this option stuff, but a lot of people don't got, don't got don't got real trade desk ties, and I ain't no disrespect to nobody. A lot of people making money, but I'm saying, like, on a one contract basis, that would be more beneficial to you all. Like, you don't have to put up $1,000 or two, three, four, $5,000 and to make some money, because a lot of people are taking profit at 30% or whatever. Scalp trading, I'm putting you in setups that will yield at least 100% profit on average, so you can grab one contract and make a lot of money. So that's what we do around here, and that's what I'm trying to show. Yeah, behind the scenes, I may be in some trades where I got a whole lot of contracts or in another account or something, and sometimes y'all see that, but I'm trying to show y'all that what I'm telling y'all is what you can do and really make a lot of money doing it. So that's what we pride ourselves around here. I'm gonna post it too, but I'm just saying. So it's like when you look at things like that, or I'll see what my snipers do, and versus traders who will be in the same trade, trading on their own. they'll spend like over $1,000 on a trade and make $2,000, and one of my snipers have buy one contract and make more money than them or the same amount, risking just a fraction of what they're leveraging, so it's like it's just different ways of doing it, and taking it to where it needs to go. But yeah, that was a great trade to be in. And I told myself, and I told KK, I said this week, and this was last week, I had to show y'all, because I said I'm gonna throw a lot of things out there. I'm not gonna actually alert a lot of trades this week, and this was last week. So I ain't worried about getting credit. We only get credit, or any trade that you see that's listed in our profits are trades that I actually alerted to the tree to the team. So if I didn't alert it, even if I just set up a chart and told you this was going to happen, I don't take credit for those, because but I sometimes I want to just post those type of trades too, because I want my snipers to shine, and I want to show the rest of the team, like, if you really lock in, this is what you could be able to do on your own too. I want you to be able to look at those charts and see those levels and be able to exude that confidence that you need to shoot the general, as we call it. But yeah, but it takes some time. You can't just jump in, and the best way to do it is ask the questions you really want to know the answer to. Like J Rock, shout out to you too. The other day, you asked me a question about we were in a TTD trade, a trade desk trade, right? And at the end of the day, he said, I'm up over 100 and something percent, the contract and the money. The contract was like, I think, a good like $5 in the money, something like that at that point. He like, should I swing this because we got time on it, or what should I take profit? I'm like, well, you could take profit and buy. And I told him what strike to buy. You can take profit and get this, but secure that gain. You up 100%, you several dollars in the money. Let's secure that. If we think it's going to go higher, then we can get a higher strike right here. Get this 100 call, and and go from there. Because we were in 95 calls and they were in the money. But yeah, so just about asking the right questions at the right times. And then we got I think it's ECF, new member. Shout out to him too. He understood the assignment. We had a QQQ trade, and alerted this QQQ trade. I gave the whole setup, the chart. We've been watching that QQQ chart for a few weeks now, because it was a inverse head and shoulders actually a head and shoulders that was actually forming on the chart. And we've been watching it, and I was like, well, if it lose certain levels, certain things were going to happen. Those levels, that the structure broke, and and the rest is history with that. But he jumped into that trade, and went hard on that trade at the right time, and made a lot of money off that trade. I think he turned like about 900 into like over $5,000. So shout out to him, just coming in off the bat, following the process, and just making money. Like I said, it ain't always going to be that easy. There are going to be situations where it isn't that easy, but I expect the team to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are that easy, the simple ones. But if you're overthinking it, and just worried about whether you're going to sound stupid or something like that, to me, the only thing that's stupid is taking money that you work really hard for and actually spent your time away from your family working for, and jumping into trades and not asking no questions if you don't know what you're doing. I think that's crazy. So, just stick to it, and be humble with it, like that'd be the thing. Like, being humble allows you to relinquish control and to be vulnerable and ask the right questions instead of just trying to sound smart. So we just want to make a lot of money around here, man, and I want everybody to participate. So yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. Anybody else got anything, or any thoughts or comments or anything? All right, well, let me ask a question.
I got a quick lesson learned.
Oh, what's up, Drew?
What's going on, coach? Yeah, so for me, I'm talking. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, so we had our one-on-one about like 3 weeks ago or so, and we talked about the amount of money I was leveraging. I'm always like moving around and stuff. So I actually took it easy these past couple of weeks, and I just kind of got back locked in the past couple of days, Thursday and Friday, and you alerted that trade for Lily. And I did play the morning. I did execute one trade. I think I came about 60% on that trade, but as it was closing, I'm like, this is a good swing. So I actually swung it as well. I put in my position. I seen, next week's calls, and that morning it actually, was a positive result. So and that like kind of like put things in perspective, right? So one, it was like, when I'm like moving around, I can't really dive into the charts as much as I would like and all that good stuff. I should be hands off. You know what I mean? So I actually like took that in and I followed the plan. I took my quote unquote daily goal. We also talked about that of, making a certain amount, per day into a weekly. It's kind of released the pressure. I was taking a lot of trades, right? If you remember,
Yeah, oh, I
and it kind
remember.
of like, yeah, it's a lot of trades, right? And it kind of put it in perspective. Like, let's slow down a bit, let's take less trades. We can leverage more, but let's be, tuned into what's going on. Look at structure and all this good stuff. And like Bob, you know, for me, I kind of or I tend to get a little scared a little bit when a trade doesn't go my way on, let's say, the 5 minute chart or maybe the hour. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta cut it. I gotta cut it. I'm down, a certain percentage, I gotta cut it, right? But like, really, honing in and, trusting my levels, it's gonna bounce. This is a pullback. It didn't, break structure, right? It might have, broken the EMAs and all that good stuff. And, that it kind of, I guess, made me feel more confident in a way because like over those past couple of weeks, I was just watching the market and seeing how it moved. You know what I mean? But not actually being like in a play, if that makes sense. And I'm like, oh, okay. I can see from like a higher level. And then to your point of, a few traders are like, hey, we zoom out. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta start like zooming out when I'm in the trade versus, looking at a 5 minute chart or an hour chart to see what's really going on. So, over these past couple of weeks, I definitely, learned a lot. And, I feel like my confidence has like risen to where I can be in a trade and feel comfortable if it does, pull back, to some extent and still be comfortable. You know what I mean? And not have to be like, okay, I'm gonna cut this trade. I'm gonna get back in, once it, kind of stabilize and then, get back in. So, I guess to wrap it all up, it's more of a sense of, I've learned to, trust the process more, right? And not over leveraging. I think because like, we might over leverage most times, and we might get nervous, and we might say, "Hey, I gotta cut this to stop the losses," and then like the next day it might pop again. You know what I mean? So I think that was like the major
Yes.
lesson. You know what I mean, KK, right? So like I think that was a major lesson that I learned over this past couple of weeks. Just like taking a step back, not really taking trades where I couldn't focus on the charts and like really dialing in when I'm not being able to focus. And like that Lily trade, it definitely opened my eyes to, what is possible when of course you limit your trades, you focus on one stock and all that good stuff like you talked about. And also following a process. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate that call out. Hit 400% on that trade. No flex, no flex. But yeah,
You
No, that was
murdered
a
the trade, Drew.
yeah,
You
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 killed
killed
that,
I
it.
Drew. You
appreciate
killed
that. I
that.
appreciate
That was an awesome
that.
trade.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I mean that trade went over 800%, 1,000%. If I would have been stationary, I did have to move around and all that good stuff. And the rule is you can't watch the trade, get out. So, I got out. The profit was amazing, right? I'm not complaining about that at all. But it goes to show like trust the process, waiting on the call outs, waiting for the setup on, a
Hmm.
higher time frame, and then digging into the lower time frames for your entry.
I was definitely trying to clue into that, and I think that's what like helped me over these past couple of weeks, being hands off. You know what I mean? So, definitely the one on one, spot on as always. But it definitely resonated this time, and we're making some moves, man.
No,
Drew
I
talking that
appreciate that.
stuff today. I love to hear it, Drew. I
Yeah,
love to
no,
hear it.
but look, but then I am gonna add something though. Like, so look, one thing to consider, like whenever, like you said, sometimes I get uncomfortable in a trade. So like, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your account. It matter how much money you're comfortable having on a line at one time. Like I always tell my traders, like the first time I traded 10 contracts, it was 10 SPY contracts, and I did not like the way it felt. Like a little pullback did not feel good, and I was not comfortable. I could not focus. So I trimmed down until I got to that level where I was comfortable with. It wasn't the amount of contracts, it was the amount of money that I had on the line. And I wasn't comfortable with that. So it doesn't matter like how much money you got in your account, it's how much money you're comfortable with, where you can stay level headed. Like, so I always say, if you don't like look at the trade like walking across the Grand Canyon on a tightrope, right? And when you only got one contract, you got like about 3 yards on each side of you. So if you fall, you may not necessarily fall down into that pit, but the more contracts you add, the more narrow that road becomes. So the more nervous you're going to be, and the less focused you're going to be able to be. So so one little gust of wind gonna knock you over, one little misstep gonna knock you over and have you flustered, have you constantly worried about falling. So you don't try to get rich right away, because again, it's just take that time and just only trade as many contracts as you're comfortable. And I always say never trade more than 20% of your total available cash to trade, because when you die, because we will die, you'll have 4 more lives left, and it may only take one to get it right. Or or when it's time to cut a trade, you're not like arguing against me to say, well, why do we have to cut it? Because you had too much money on that trade, and you didn't want to. Cutting that trade down 20 or 30% may be too much for you because you had too much money on the line. But yeah, so that's good though. But just wanted to throw that part in there. Like if you ever a little uncomfortable when you get a little pullback, I mean, you got too much money on the line, shave it off some, because those losses hurt. But yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great.
Antoine, before we move forward, I just gotta shout you out. I need you to put the clapping on for yourself, because we have had a phenomenal year. But this past week, as far as I'm concerned, like I can't, like I said, it's the whole year has just been crazy. But we set off August so crazy, and I mean it's just been getting better and better. I got to shout out that FTNT early this week, because
Fortnite.
that banger was a banger. That's one of the things that I've been working on, is looking at when to sell. Like if we in something big, a big earnest trade or whatever, like I just felt like being up $2,000 right at market open, I'm selling that. I'm not gonna, I'm not even gonna wait for I'm not waiting to see anything. I'm gonna take that money. But like that particular trade, it gave a little baby pullback, but it didn't, that was one of those ones I'm like, it's building up. It's going where it need to go. So
Hmm.
yeah, just watching for those things too, just learning as we go along. But shout you out, because August is already a banger. We up bands and bands. Like we're always way past 175. That's all I know. If you pay 175 to be in this group, 1,000% ROI is like nothing in this group. We getting that in a week, easy. So shout you out. Flowers for you.
Problem. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Like I said, it ain't work because I'm doing what I love to do. Like I said, I told you I rushed back from the cemetery to get here for this meeting. So yeah. But no, I appreciate it though. I appreciate it more by seeing them contracts and the options wins, that proof of concept, man. Oh, and shout out to you, J Rock, too, because I ain't posted what I posted it, but I'm gonna post it on my main page when I'm done here. J Rock took the profits from last week and made a nice little profits collage for it, and it's really nice. It's really nice what he did. So I appreciate that. It's really, really nice. And yeah.
No problem, Brody.
Yeah,
You
you
know, it
killed
don't matter.
that.
You kill it day in and day out. So just being able to
Yeah,
get
so
back to
like
the
I
team
told you,
help me
like I
feel
said,
better
your
about it.
money is no good around here, man. Like we already canceled your membership fee, so you don't have a membership fee in this community anymore. So, you keep that hundred something dollars, man. Appreciate that. And let's just continue to make this money. But I appreciate that. Nobody asked you to do that, and that meant a lot. So yeah, and it was really nice. So I'm gonna wait till I show it to y'all.
No, much
Yeah.
appreciated, Brody. I want to keep pouring into the team, pouring into the company.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And keep banging out them wins too. But yeah, like J Rock was in a few trades with me this week and well, earnings trades too. Cause like I said, we do earnings trades too, but I just they more behind the scenes trades. I used to post earnings trades in the chat for everyone and give commentary on the earnings trades. But what would happen is people, who didn't really read the chat or whatever, they just would just jump into plays and get clapped, wouldn't take profit. So then it was like, well, if we get on Zoom together, then we can talk about it more. And but anyway, yeah, we don't need earnings around here. Earnings, schmurnings. You don't need earnings to make money around here. We crushing it without them. But yeah, let's hop into some charts, man. I mean, again, if if you're a type of person that and I'm just gonna say that, look, we stock option savages at the end of the day. We call that because you got to be able to shoot the general when a time comes, and but I will say, look, man, if you are a trader and you in here and you're here to make money, do not allow yourself or your ego, your shyness, or anything to stop you from speaking up about that money. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's all you have, and if as long as you're humble with it, man, anybody will help you. So yeah, but let's go ahead and get started, man. But just with these charts, let's just hop right into the charts. I guess the first chart I'm gonna start off with today is I'm gonna start off with. I got QQQ up, so I might as well just start there, right? Go ahead and just start there. So for those who don't know, QQQ is an ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ contains the top 100 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So a lot of the tech stocks that we trade, I mean, they in SPY too, but SPY has more. QQQ is more smooth because it's tech based, so you want to worry about energy or anything like that. The only other stocks really you'll have to worry about in here, like the financial stocks, but they're really tech stocks anyhow because you need the best tech in order to defend against hacking banks and stuff, right? So, but yeah, so look at this chart right here, man. This is QQQ. This is the daily chart, and every time we've come up to this area right here, we've gotten rejected and came back down. We're in a cycle right now, I guess, and earnings season started off okay. It started off, I think earnings season started off fine. Every time once we lost the 9 EMA right here on the daily, it's been a free fall down. We reclaimed the 200 EMA and it's been moving back up. We got a 222 continuation. We finally reclaimed the 9 EMA and finished over the 9 EMA. But we're still like, but this line again, this is unofficial line because it's so many ways to do this, right? But we're just here. But we did reclaim the 9 EMA. I'm putting things, the EMAs are relative, right? So actually, hold on, let me move this out of the way. This is like in my way. Just get it out of there. There's a gap here, and it looked like if we're able to clear, hold on here a second. Yeah, so I feel like if we're able to clear 452, 452.06, we should be able to make a move up into this gap fill area and close this bearish gap up here at what is that, 459.66. So up here in this area here. So over 452. I'm looking for a move into 450. What is that for? Did I say 456 or 459? Sorry, 459.66. So over 452, we're looking for a move into up to 459.66 to close that gap. But then we'll also have a wedge break if we were to close. And, that can be looked at as several ways, and we'll get a nice move up. If that, the next move after that will be our 50 EMA, which is 464.69, and then we got 467.95 as another level. Now to the downside, because again, like I said, every time we hit that area, the stock kind of well, the ETF gotten rejected with the last few times. So if we lose that 450, I'm just going to say we lose 455.60, we lose 455.60, we're probably going to go retest 440, and we may bounce there, but we'll just, play that accordingly. But then from 440, then I got several levels, but I'm gonna say from 440, 435.59, and then 431.59, the 200 EMA. So just keep this on watch. Again, QQQ looking good right now. A lot of the tech stocks I was telling you about were setting up nicely. They were selling defensive stocks heading into the close on Friday. So we have a lot of rotation happening again. When they start selling the defensive stocks, that means they're bullish again. So that's what I'm looking at. Let me switch this screen over here. One sec. Uh, there. Okay. All right. All right. Back here to. I'm just going to switch this. Hold on one second. So we're going to go jump right into this one. So I got my Expedia chart here. Expedia was another trade from last week. I like this chart a lot. It closed just under the 200 EMA here. So, just under the 200 EMA. Something. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Cool. Yeah. So that was it. It reclaimed the 50, closed under the 200 EMA. But look, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So I want to clear this 50. I mean, this 200 EMA. We cleared this 200 EMA and we got action. You see it's a flag here or just a wedge here also. But look at this. I'm going to show you a few things on this chart, but we're going to go to the weekly just to make it look a lot clearer. So you can see we got a 222 reversal with a bullish engulfing on the weekly, closing above this breakout area here, but you still steer just under this level. So I'm looking for a nice move, a continuation. Look at that volume here. So the earnings were pretty cool on Expedia. Go back here. And so like I said, we got that gap up. But look, I want y'all to just see the resilience on the stock for Friday, because again, after the earnings, bears drag price all the way down here, all the way down to the 50 EMA. Bulls were able to fight because the price opened all the way up here. It opened, you can't really see it because we got like a doji candle here, so you can't really see it. That's when the opening and closing price are pretty much the same. Stock opened, so it opened at 130 and it closed at 130. Damn, it closed at 130. It closed 1 cent higher than where it opened, right? But the whole point is, the reason I like candlesticks is because it tells you what's going on. We can just use candlesticks and know everything that happened. And we can see that it opened here. Bears were ruthless. They dragged price all the way down here. But for the Bulls to be able to fight and bring it all the way back up here, that's resilience and that's bullish. So although we rejected the 200 EMA, it took a lot of volume. It took a lot of green volume to drag the price all the way back up here after bears dragged it down here. So that's bullish. So what I'm looking for, so what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us? That means, okay, we're going to have to see exactly what happens. So what I'm looking for, I want us to reclaim that 200 EMA first before anything. So over 131.31, then we got a gap fill. We got a small gap fill area here. So the first target would be up into so after 131, 131.31, the first target would be 132.67, and then we're gonna I'm looking for a move all the way up over 135. I actually gotta go to a higher time frame because I was telling y'all something about this on Friday, what I was really looking for from this one. Like I said over 130, over 131 or whatever. I'm looking for moving to 135 and then 140. That's what I'm really looking for. So I'm looking for 140. Here's my weekly chart right here. And I'm looking for a move up into up in here, like 139, 46. But we get up in this area, 140 is pretty much where I'm looking for, and we can see what happens over that. But pretty bullish chart. man, everything looks great about it. Here's you can even like the monthly doesn't really matter now because we're like midway. But first things first, clearing this 200 EMA and going from there. I really like the volume on it. And so yeah, let's just keep this on watch. Now, as far as puts go, it's going to take a lot for puts. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's two ways to play this. I can't really give you a target for puts because, a entry for puts. The only way I would say is this: if price goes back up to this 200 EMA on the daily and it rejects it, zoom out on the session hourly and see if you find a setup. Because if it gets rejected here, they could possibly bring it down again. You could play, make a nice $4 or $5 move down to the 50 or wherever it goes. It could just come down here or something, but we got to see what the price action is talking about. But I'm bullish on it, so I'll be looking for a bullish setup because in order for us to play puts on this, for me to give you a put level, it has to make a significant move down for me to say that. So if you're going to play puts, I'd rather play it off of a reject than looking for a trigger for puts. So that's how I feel about Expedia. Let me move on to shop. Hold on, there is another chart, man. I feel like something is missing from one of my charts. Just give me a second. There's a chart that's missing. Give me one sec. Something is missing. And I know where it is. Okay, I figured it out. Okay. Yeah, we didn't get to that chart yet. That's why. Okay, cool. So we cool up here. Just gonna switch this back over. Um, and I said I was gonna go to shop. I know we touched on shop, but let me
You
just
gave
go.
the levels on shot. You
Yeah,
said,
I know.
oh,
I
okay.
know. I know. Yeah, I did give the levels already on it. I just wanted to bring this chart up here just because yeah, we definitely did. But did I say I did. I already gave the levels and I said where it's going and everything. I did that.
Over 70 to 77, under 67 to 63, but it's a bullish engulfing on the weekly.
Okay. See, KK got it. All right. So I ain't gonna cover it again. See, that's what happens when you taking notes. I appreciate that, KK. Um, yeah, so let's go over here. All right, so Palo Alto, nice chart here. I love the way the stock move. Like I said, we finished here at resistance here. So, we finished here just at resistance. Let's see if we can break through this area. We got a lot of levels that we can actually hit on this chart, So we got the non-EMA about to cross back over to 50. And it looks pretty bullish here. And here's the weekly looks great also. So we got another bullish engulfing 222 reversal with a bullish engulfing, and I like that on this chart. So what I'm looking for here, man, if we can clear 333.14, I'm looking for a move up to 345.90, and then over that back up into 362. Now, if we were to lose 317.49, then we would probably retest 312 and then all the way back down to 296 at the 200 EMA. That's what I would be looking for this one. So, but yeah, I like the volume on it. I like the flow, and we should be able to get a nice move on this one, like with that type of close, pretty much. And one thing about Palo Alto, it give you a good continuation. And with everything that's going on with CrowdStrike or whatever, the next best thing is Palo Alto. We talked about this last Sunday, and and you see the move that it made. So like, and I know a few people were talking about this chart and saying they had the levels, but did y'all take the trade? Did anybody alert this until I mentioned it in the chart in the chat on Friday? I ain't heard nothing about Palo Alto. So by the time I mention it, it's too late. So if you're watching them and you taking notes, like, and you see something break out, make sure you let the team know so we can be on point. Cause it don't matter if once I say it, you know what I'm saying? So, let's move on to Meta. Nice chart. Yeah, Meta did what needed to be done yesterday. It was multiple. Shout out to you again, KK, because you took a nice trade on Meta. I thought that was a really good trade that you had, and you did it on your own. Like what I just now said. So people may think I'm being a little hard or whatever when I say, by the time I say it, it don't matter. Like look, I was talking to KK, and before I can say anything about stocks, she just jumped out and just like, look, I swung Meta calls. I just wanted to say it before you say something because, once I say it, it don't matter because, and the reason I'm a stickler on this for everybody that don't know, they're like, why does it matter? Because when I'm talking about something, everybody can finish my sentences and interrupt me, right? But if I'm not paying attention, we all crash and burn. But I'm like, where are my snipers who were talking when I was talking? I thought y'all knew what was going on. But when I ain't paying attention, we all crash and burn. You get what I'm saying? So if I ain't paying attention, we miss out on a trade opportunity. But if I mention it, then everybody's saying, oh, I already knew that, whatever. But I'm like, well, speak up. So, just in case I ain't paying attention and that's some money that we could have made or something like that. So yeah, so shout out to her for having, and the reason I'm gonna tell y'all another reason I do that. I'm a coach at the end of the day. And if you're afraid to speak up when you believe something in the trade, that means you don't have confidence in it. That's going to affect your money. That's going to affect how much money you can make in this game. It's going to affect everything. So all of the arrogance or the stuff that you tell yourself, if you're scared to speak out on something that you see, then don't try to talk up. Don't try to talk or be or think we ever going to be on the same level because I put my neck out there every day, all day long. You know what I mean? Who cares if I'm wrong? I'm gonna be wrong fast, and we going to run it back even harder. You know what I'm saying? So if you see something, jump out there and say something. If it's not the right thing, if you need some help or whatever, who cares? Just jump out there and say something so we all can make some money or we could do something about it, right? So yeah, great trade on Meta, KK. Great chart. So let's talk about Meta. So Meta finished right here at a level, right? So we're gonna see if Meta clears this area right here. We got a nice move up that we can make. So Meta heading towards these all-time highs again. So if we can get back over 1834, then Meta's looking back for a move back up into this area here. I'm looking for a move back up into 530. That's what I'll be looking for Meta. So over 1834, I'm looking for a move back up into 530 for Meta. Now, if Meta was to lose that 505, let's just say if Meta loses 505, I'm looking for a move back down to 594. And then 489 is back in play again. We got the same levels. I don't got this chart marked up. This is my one chart that's clean for the most part. I don't want to put levels on this chart because I
Them
got
levels stand.
them levels, they stand. That's why one thing I like when we don't have to make it is no price discovery because Meta already hit a lot of these levels. What I like about this, so we got a nice bullish engulfing right here on Meta, really strong week. This was a really strong week. Now, look, some people say, well, we could have been doing this. Oh yeah, we made some money on Meta this week, right? But there were some other trades. We played a few trades, but yeah, like it was a lot of I'm gonna tell you, I said this to the team, but I'm gonna say it to y'all too. People say, well, why didn't I call out a lot of Meta trades last week? On Monday, remember over the weekend, the market chose violence, right? So Monday morning, y'all saw what happened with the market, y'all saw what happened last week with the market. And so QQQ was down like about 20 something dollars. The whole market was down. Meta was down $20. Big tech, everything was down. So they were pricing in a $25 move for Meta for most of last week. So they priced that into your options contract. So each any contract that I would have alerted to the team was priced at over $500 per option. So I traded them. I was not putting my team in those trades when I see, I didn't feel comfortable putting my team in those trades. Well, with a lot of new people in the group and not people that aren't, and then there was a meta trade. A lot of new members, they won't speak up and ask questions when it's time to get out of a trade or like if you're making money in a trade, they'll just assume, oh, up a few $100s or whatever, and they'll just keep holding. And then now in trade it's just a lot that goes on. And so I didn't feel comfortable alerting a trade that was that much. I like to use the money that I've already made the team and use that to reinvest that into the market. I don't want you to have to add any new money from your accounts into the so that's why I didn't alert any meta trades. and because they were the ones that I would have alerted were too expensive. And if I could have gone even further out, but the delta was a little too low for my liking. And, heading into, you got to really balance it out. And I have to, and like I said, based on the questions that y'all ask or lack thereof, give me the confidence of whether I can, do certain things with y'all or not. So, and KK will tell you back in 2021, most of the contracts we used to get in were over $500. But I saw when then a new school of young members had joined like early 2022, and they just were blowing their accounts left and right, not taking profits. So I stopped calling out trades that were that amount of money, So that was just how that went down. So that's the reason why I didn't alert a lot of meta trades. But this chart looks great. This is the weekly chart right here. I gave y'all the levels on meta. Let's keep meta on watch. Really beautiful bullish chart, and it's time. If the market's going to get a continuation, then meta is one of those stocks that we need to be watching. Beautiful chart. So all right, cool. Let me move on to Eli Lilly. So this is so yeah. So look, so all right. So if you follow me on Instagram or whatever, then you already know, like the day before Lilly earnings, I had posted this chart on my story. I think it was like probably midnight or whatever. And I'm like, well, I was waiting for a move to happen, for it to go one way or the other. And we had this chart, everything looks great on it. So we got this move up. We reclaimed the 50 EMA, went up here, rejected this area, broke back down, and came back up. I'm finishing with a 222 continuation, right? So we got this a 2-2 continuation. So we got this area. So what happened at the end of the day, if you notice, price came back and it just cleared just above this area here. So just at or above this level, this area here. So this is still extremely bullish, and we got another gap area. So what I'm looking for is a move if we're able to clear. So look, this is a really, really good chart. So if we're able to clear 908.50, so over 908.50, I'm looking for a move up into here. I'm looking for a move up into 940. What is that? I mean 941.60. So up in this area here. So again, that's a nice, and again, I'm give us some margin, obviously, but I'm saying like over 908.50, I'm looking for a move into 941 now. And this is good for Lilly too, because for a stock like Lilly, it moves on average about $40 a day. So that's a given. Not all the time, obviously, it's on average. So if we were able to do that, then we can make a nice move. Now, it has to make a significant move down for me to be looking for puts on this. So what you can do, if it was to make another trip up to 408.50 and get rejected at that bearish gap fill area, then you can play puts back down. But we'll have to figure out what the range would be at that point by looking at a lower time frame. So, but again, Lilly is bullish. Look at this bullish engulfing on the weekly, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all, this is just me talking, but just listen to me though. Again, this is a weekly chart, so this may not happen in one day. It may take the full week for this to happen. But I personally feel if we get back over 408, this thing is going all the way back up to I'm sorry, if we get back over 908.50, I feel like this thing is going all the way up to 960. So that's just my thought. That's my thought. Like you see that reversal that took place or whatever, and we got to move 955 up into this area up here, at least 955. That's what I'll be looking for if and this off the weekly, just off the weekly, if we were to do that. But yeah, like yeah. So keep this one on watch. Another great chart, and let me go to. Another trade that we crushed. McDonald's got crushed, man. We crushed McDonald's, man. We crushed this one for like a whole week. Beautiful swing trade. Beautiful swing trade. So look at this. I was looking so you can see we got a flag happening here. Nice bull flag happening on the weekly. It's been struggling around here at the I got to see where that 200 is. Okay, so we got the EMA and SMA right there. Okay, cool. I'm just leaving both on. All right, so right there. So we've been struggling around there, but we we reclaimed the 9 EMA. We reclaimed the 9 EMA and we finished just above this this support level here. And so it's just it's been trading in this little range right here. So that's a nice little and actually this is a little tradable, a nice tradable range, you know, for somebody who just like to take little quick scalp trades. But what I'm looking for is a bullish flag breakout. I want the price to break out of this flag because if it does, if we get a move, if we get a breakout of that flag, then we got a nice move up to 285 that we can get, or even higher. I'll be looking for even higher, but 285 would be a nice move if we break out of this area here. Like we got a little flag situation going here, and so we break out of this and we get a nice move. But I wouldn't play it necessarily on the first breakout. I would wait for it to. I mean, you can play it, and when it breaks out, and then up to the that's a about a $5 move up to the 200 EMA. But I'm looking for the big move. You know me, I like to play the big move. If it's not a big move, it's not worth it. So I'm looking for a move up to 285. If we were to clear that area and over 285, then back over to 292 and so on. Now let me zoom out and show you the weekly charts. You get a clearer picture of what's going on. That's a beautiful candle right there. Beautiful situation. We got that breakout we held, and now it's just pulling back a little bit. Now McDonald's, they missed earnings, and the guy was good because they got this $5 box or something that they were talking about. And I haven't eaten at McDonald's in decades, right? But they got this $5 box they've been talking about, and they said that the money, the revenue from that wasn't included in this earnings, and they were really bullish on that. So that's what took the stock on a tear. And plus, McDonald's is one of them staples. Not even call it a staple, but it's definitely in the Dow, one of the biggest stocks on the one of the best real estate companies in the business, right? So yeah, we got that breakout. So let's keep McDonald's on watch. Again, it's a good trade. This weekly chart is interesting though, because we got to be very careful. Just because there's a chance that it can go up, there's a chance that it could come down too. I mean, I like what I'm seeing here though, you know, but if we were to lose that 266, 266.96, then we can possibly make a move back down to 261. That's a nice move, 261.50, 52. And yeah, because there's a support area and the 50 EMA right there. That should be enough for it to bounce though. Now, if it doesn't hold there, then we got hell. It's probably going to come all the way back down to 250 and then down to 243 if it doesn't hold. So I think they're going to hold it for them to fight as much as they did to get it to go up that far. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't hold, but we're going to follow the price action, you know? So that's how we're going to do that one. Let me go ahead and hit Airbnb, man. This earnings was interesting, man. So they fell off a cliff after earnings last week. And I don't play Airbnb earnings, so I did not participate in that. But it was a beautiful earnings move. It blasted through its expected move. It was a crazy move. But look at the weekly chart. Came down here, retested a key area here, support, and it held. It held. It bounced off that support area. Now, some people look, like I said, you know, we talk about head fakes all the time. So price came down and it bounced off of that area, reclaim this area right here, right? So if as long as we hold this area here, as long as we hold this 113 77 area around here, we should be able to make a move. We should be making a move up to 123. That'll be my target, 123.22. We reclaim that, and then, you know, we got 130.67. Now, if we lose that, again, this is a weekly chart I'm looking at right here. So, you know, things could happen and you get moved. I'm gonna zoom back out in a sec. I mean, zoom back in a second, but just want you to see the weekly. Remember, because we got a lot of bear flow on this. So I don't know if it's over or not. I don't know if it's over. We could easily get a retest of this area and then flush down. Or let's go back to the daily for a second. You know, so a bear flag is starting to form. We got that breakdown, price consolidating here, but it's trying to move back up. Is that an inside candle on Friday? I believe it is. Yeah, finished inside on Friday. So it's a lot of you know, we have to figure out what's going to happen. But again, I feel like there's a big possibility that it could come down. But if we are able to get a reversal, it's going to try to fill this gap here. but you see how that lines up with the bigger levels on the weekly. That's why I didn't mark any levels on the daily here. So I'm not really looking. I feel like this is too risky to just trade based off of these daily candles that we're seeing here, because it hasn't really been making much higher highs, but we did finish inside. Inside as a neutralizing candle, right? So price can go either way. So I'll just say, if we do take out that 116.26, then let's see, we can look for a move up to the 9 EMA at 124.80. But I would base my moves based off of what's really going off on this weekly, and if we can establish any real move, because again, right now it's just been trading in this range, and bulls and bears kind of agreeing on the same price in a way, because it hasn't really been opening too much, and the earnings wasn't really good. So normally you get a move like this for a bear flag, it'll start to move up like this before flush down to another level, and it looked like that's what it wants to do. So but again, I'm following the price action. You got to look at it like this is a puzzle, and part of the puzzle, it looked like it may be a whatever type of building it may be, but we only got 3 pieces of the puzzle, so we don't really know what this building is going to look like until we get more pieces of the puzzle. So that's how I trade. I rather, if I don't see a clear picture, I'm gonna tell you straight up, like, I'm not sure what's gonna happen until we see. It looked like it wants to go lower, if you ask me. So, but let's just see what the price tells us, and I'll go from there. I didn't listen to the earnings call, so I'm not really sure what the outlook was, but I know, yeah, they got it down. They did got it down. But yeah, so let's just keep it on watch, see what it does. But I'm bearish. Again, that's a nice gap that it could fill if it was to make a move, but let's just base that off of what the overall price does. It's not really worth the trade to me right now unless it takes out that low and goes down. That's what I'm saying, because we got a nice drop down if we do make a move down. Now, I'm just for purposes of me showing you the chart, like this is really clean. It's a clean break right here, so we could actually make some moves down lower, but like I said, the weekly chart, it came back up and reclaimed this, but this is an ugly 222 continuation right here. So yeah, we got this, but let's just see if this level holds. If the level doesn't hold, we'll know Monday, or we'll see what happens this week, and then we may get a nice move. That's a pretty substantial move to the downside if we lose that and flush down. So let's just keep it on watch. And yeah, let me see what. Yeah, so that's all I'm gonna do for right now. I know KK was telling me, like, I ain't gonna say KK, but yeah, so we're just trying to keep it at a certain thing, keeping at a certain amount of charts, so we can really focus on what we're doing throughout the week. And if other trades come about, we'll obviously post them in the chat and stuff like that. Now, look, I will say this. So economic data this week. Now, this quarter, I mean, this week, this is a pretty volatile week. We got on Tuesday, we got PPI. On Wednesday, we got CPI, and on Thursday, we got retail sales data. You know what I mean? So, and it's a lot of retail earnings this week too. So it's just a lot going on in the market. So just this week is going to be an interesting week for volatility. So yeah, we already know how we gonna play, man, and I'm looking forward to it. There's one last chart that I'm gonna cover. I have to end it on this chart because I just have to. Monday.com, they got earnings tomorrow morning after the open. I mean, well, yeah, right before the open, Monday.com. So here's the chart, man. And again, there's a pretty interesting trade. Now, Drew, I remember last quarter, the day after earnings on Monday.com, we made a substantial amount of money the morning after. I remember that last quarter. So you see how we stock came down here, retested a key level that I have, and then went back up here. We got back over some important EMAs. It closed here just at, I think, a little slightly above the 9 EMA. Yes, it's slightly over the 9 EMA where price finished. So it looked like it wants to make this is the weekly chart, by the way. So I'm looking for a 222 reversal. That's what I'm looking for on this to get us back above that 240. Back above 240, back above 240 for Monday.com. Here's the daily chart, just really quickly, so you can see what's going on. Price has been coming down and bouncing off the 200-day EMA, And so we got a nice move up here heading into this print. So just depending on what happens tomorrow morning will determine which way we play this and what type of move we can actually make. Now, when I zoom out, just so you can see what's going on, there's a lot of levels that can be reclaimed on this chart if we were able to, if this is a bullish earnings and the stock makes a huge move, like if this is a bullish earnings and this stock makes a huge move, then we should be able to take out that 251, that 52-week high, the 251.48. We take that out, and then we can make a nice move. Then we can start to get up into those what's the word I'm looking for? Into the it's a weekly chart, so you ain't gonna see the gaps. But yeah, it's a gap up there in that area. But what I would be looking for is we get over that to 250. If we get over that 251 area, then I'm looking for a move back up in the 256, 55, and then so on. Like over 300 would be my next target. Now, if I zoom out, zoom in so you can see the gap. I know that was an earnings gap that actually took place. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I was like, where the hell is that gap? Where the 200 was. Okay, so yeah, we got it's a gap area here. This is another gap, but this wasn't the one that I was looking for. Just marking it up so I can have it marked. But where is it? Yeah, that one already got filled actually. They filled that gap. But yeah, over 240, over 251, that would be another. We got nice levels that we can move up into. So yeah, so where I was appropriate because that would be the next gap from once it clears that area. So yeah, that would be appropriate. That would be appropriate, that area that I was at. So let me just move this over some. And yeah, so this is a stock I would just say keep on watch. Now, the only caveat for new traders or just anyone, the spreads, a lot of volume don't go into stocks like this. Now, Monday.com is a software company, right? A tech software company doing really well. Had a really good earnings and they got it up, so it's a big, they have a lot, there's the expectation are high. Right. So if they would have missed those expectations, man, this thing would die a horrible death, a nice, really nice, substantial move down, so, and we'd be able to play it. So that's what if that happens, that would be good. But we did reclaim the 50 EMA. I like that heading into a print. So a move over 250 would be good, or move back down to the 200 EMA would be even better. One of those types of just somewhere, because I feel like if we lose the 200, if it's a bad earnings, it's going to lose the 200 EMA, and I think it's going to come all the way down to like at least south of 180. That's what I'll be looking for if they were to have a bad earnings, if they were to miss those expectations and the guidance isn't as good as last quarter or what the estimates were. But yeah, so but again, like I said, the spreads are really wide on this one because it's not a lot of volume that go into this type of trade because it's not one of the popular stocks that people trade. So if you be very careful when you're getting into trades, if it's not something that I put you in or people who are on here that aren't in a part of our community or whatever, just be careful. But if it's someone that's in this community, just ask and I'll let you know what's up, because again, just you don't want it, because what the worst thing you can do is get into a strike and there's no liquidity and you get trapped in there, or you get in the trade. Let's say you pay 600 to get into a trade or something, just throwing that number out there, and you just decide immediately that once you got in the trade that you don't want to be in it, and the spread, they're charging you $100 to sell it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when these trades like that. But if the earnings is good and they have a nice earnings, we should get some more liquidity, but still not a lot because it's not a very popular stock. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. But I wanted to make sure I covered this one, and yeah. But that's all I have. And again, thank y'all for being patient. I know we started like a good 5-7 minutes late, but I think we made up for it on the back end. And again, yeah, that's all I have. And I will see y'all this week. Thanks for having a great week, and thanks for sticking around with me. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate
Thanks,
your
Coach.
time, bro.
Appreciate
Good
you.
one.
Great
No problem.
meeting.